Hello everyone and welcome to Essential Pro Concepts, a toolkit of practical concepts for the advancing guitar player. Episode 2, Cascades. Cascades can lend a falling down the stairs quality to your lines, an idea I picked up from Sean Tubbs years ago. Cascades combine elements of superimposition, chromaticism, odd groupings, and arpeggios. By dialing up or dialing down certain aspects of the technique, you can take your lines from inside to outside, from simple groupings to odd groupings, from order to chaos. I will take you step by step through how to create your own cascading lines. A word on context. The intro track is predominantly in G Dorian. The chord chart looks something like this. When we strip the harmony back to triads, we can spot the clues that allude to the parent key, namely G minor and A minor, two adjacent minor triads, implying the second and third degree of the key, and B flat major and C major, two adjacent major triads, implying the 4 and 5 chords of the key. We move momentarily outside of the key in the last few bars of the form, but only in a passing chord capacity. The arpeggios we're going to use follow a 2-1-2 format. We're going to take one shape and adapt it to accommodate the 4 different types of 7th chords found within a major key. I will play each arpeggio from the root note of G, and I recommend that you recite the intervals as you practice these shapes. Next, we're going to sequence these arpeggios in descending groups of 4. We're going to call these pattern 1, pattern 2, pattern 3, and pattern 4. Now we have these arpeggio shapes and this rudimentary sequencing pattern under our hands, we're going to introduce superimposition. Diatonic superimposition is where we apply chords, arpeggios, or scales that exist within the parent key but do not necessarily correspond to the chord you're playing over at the time. In the following example, I'll play a G minor 7 arpeggio over a G minor 7 chord. Remember that in this case, G minor 7 is functioning as the 2 chord in the key of F major, followed by a B major 7, an A minor 7, and a G minor 7 over the same chord. Remember that this will be functioning as our 4, 3, and 2 chords within the parent key of F major. Why does this work? Well, due to the underlying harmony, our ear is still identifying G minor 7 as the tonal center and is therefore contextualizing B flat major 7 and A minor 7 as they relate to this chord. Each 7th arpeggio highlights different pools of intervals from G Dorian. For example, when played over a G minor 7 chord, B flat major 7 implies the intervals flat 3, 5, flat 7, and 9, and A minor 7 implies the intervals 9, 11, 13, and root. This principle can be applied to all 7 arpeggios belonging to the parent key of F major. In our previous musical example, things are sounding very exercise-like, and this is where our sequences come in. I'm going to play B major 7 using pattern 1, A minor 7 using pattern 2, A minor 7 again, but using pattern 1, G minor 7 using pattern 2, and so on and so forth. Now, at the beginning of the video, I mentioned aspects of the technique that can be dialed up and dialed down depending on the desired result. The first of these is chromaticism, where we can achieve an outside sound by utilizing sidestepping. I'm going to travel from A minor 7 to G minor 7, but via G flat minor 7, which does not exist within our parent key. In this case, I don't want to linger outside of the key for too long, so I'm only going to play 2 notes from that G flat minor 7 arpeggio. If I wanted to sound more outside, I could simply linger on that passing chord for longer. This basic principle can be applied to any neighbouring chords within your key. If you are enjoying these videos, please consider subscribing to this channel. Currently, only 25% of my audience are subscribers, so this is the best way you can help the channel grow. You can also check out the Session Heroes Patreon page. Apart from gaining access to all of the transcriptions and backing tracks that I create for these videos, you'll also have access to my lesson series, Top Draw Licks. Finally, let's talk about odd groupings. The aim here is to disrupt the predictability established by playing in consecutive groups of 4. For example, we could alternate between groups of 3 and groups of 4, more broadly implying groups of 7. It's worth noting that aside from your chosen groupings, your chosen subdivisions will also contribute to the sound and feel of these lines. For example, whether you play a line as 16th notes or as sextuplets. Now that we've covered the 4 pillars of our Cascades technique, arpeggios, superimposition, odd groupings, and chromaticism, it's time for you to take these concepts and to come up with your own lines. Remember that the ratio to which you bring chromaticism and odd groupings into your lines have a profound effect on the finished result. Thanks folks, see you next time.